We all have habits. Some are good, some are bad, but they add structure to our lives, whatever they are. Today I want to talk about the good habits that we have, the ones that we share around being active. In his book, The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg explains something he calls a keystone habit. And a keystone habit is one that leads to other habits, like a chain reaction or a snowball effect. So in the terms of, say, a very active person, they usually have a keystone habit, a very keystone active habit that leads to other healthy, active habits and other lifestyle habits. This is the case with cycling. If you cycle regularly, habitually, then it's very likely you do more than just cycle. Maybe you just cycle, but it leads to a lot of other healthy habits. But it's cycling that's the keystone that sustains all these other healthy habits. When we cycle, then we eat better, get to bed on time, maybe sleep better. We have more energy leading into the next day. But what happens when things change? Maybe we get a new job, we move, we have kids, we have health issue, stresses, all kinds of things can happen. A lot of people refer to this as life getting in the way. This was the case with me. In my 30s, I began cycling almost every day. It was really convenient. Where I worked, I could take a break for lunch, and I had a group that I would cycle with almost every day at lunch. Then I would cycle on the weekends, and it really became my keystone habit. Most of what I did was just cycle. And for the most part, I was able to keep it together. I really kept that habit going. And then I moved to the mountains. And as beautiful as they are, my routines changed. And with it, so did my cycling habit. See, where I live now, I'm at about 6,000 feet, and in about a month, this whole place will be covered in snow. And with it, all the trails that I usually have access to. And so when this first happened, it really caught me off guard, and it broke that cycling habit, and it kind of left me in disarray. I needed to come up with something that would reset the active lifestyle that I enjoyed before. And so I came up with a system that I want to share with you today that really helped me reset and redefine my keystone habit and got me back to being an active person. I call it the do something every day system. So rather than focusing on cycling every day, I now focus on doing something active every day. To make this work, I really needed to have options. And living in the mountains, I have a lot of options. But I need to be able to adapt and survive too, because believe me, living at 6,000 feet, with what Mother Nature brings to us here, you learn really quick that you need to adapt to survive. So for the do something every day system to work, I had to do three things. Number one, I had to develop those options of activities to do. Number two, I had to do what I call develop a pivot plan. Number three, I had to come up with some way to lock in that keystone habit. And as I mentioned, the mountains offer a lot of opportunities. And as a cyclist, we're fit enough that we can take advantage of a lot of those opportunities. So I developed my core activity list. And they are, of course, the cycling, which is either mountain biking, gravel biking, or my e-mountain bike. Strength training, especially for those rainy days. Using my shoes, whether it's running, walking, hiking, or maybe even snowshoeing. And in the winter, skiing, especially cross-country skiing. All of these activities give me a really good workout and can survive almost any kind of weather this year can throw at me. But I do have other activities that are backups, in case of emergency break class kind of backups. No matter what happens, I know I can do a 10-minute walk or a 10-minute stretch or maybe 10 minutes of yoga. So that's a lot of options. There's a heck of a lot more options out there that I know you all enjoy. Those are the options that I'm doing, but that's a lot of options. So with those options now, I develop what I call the pivot plan. The pivot plan, simply put, is when you can't do one activity, you pivot to another. I do this in a planned way. So say for instance, I'm getting ready to go for a mountain bike ride or a bike ride. and I start head out the garage, and it's raining. Right back in, grab my running gear, my walking gear, and I'm out for a walk or a run. In the winter, I usually pivot from my regular cycling activity to cross-country skiing, specifically the skate skiing that I mentioned, which is a very similar activity and gives me some strength for cycling. And if everything gets in the way, I pivot to a 10-minute walk or a little bit of yoga. But the key concept here is that everything counts, whether it's a 2-hour bike ride, a half a day of skiing, or 10 minutes of yoga. It counts as an activity for the day. Leah Babauta, in his book, The Power of Less, emphasized that doing something every day, no matter how small, was much more important than the volume of the activity itself. Keeping that streak alive was the most important factor in helping to develop a habit. So I count everything, no matter how small, as part of the Keystone Habit of doing something every day. And how do I lock that in? Well, for me, the trick is to track it. If I don't track it, I didn't do it. In fact, in a 2019 study, those fitness trackers that we've all been using, it showed that if you use a fitness tracker to track your steps, that you're actually likely to do 50% more than if you weren't tracking it at all. So definitely tracking is my secret weapon. Now, I do like using a fitness tracker and tracking it electronically. There's a lot of fancy apps out there, but you don't need a fancy app. You can just use a paper calendar. And a paper calendar, just put an X every day you do something. As you do another activity, you put an X. You go out cycling, you put an X. You do a small walk on that day, put another X. Believe me, after you get to 20 or 30 X's, especially if it's a visible calendar that you see every day, you've started to develop that Keystone Habit. And by doing this, by coming up with more options, by using a pivot plan, and then using my own little hack of tracking it, I was able to restart and kind of reload my Keystone Habit. Of course, cycling is still my true love activity, and it anchors my Keystone Habits. I do it every chance I get, even when life tries to get in the way. And doing something every day keeps me going, keeps me healthy, keeps me ready to get on this bike and enjoy a wonderful day like today, when the evening promises a great ride out in the Madshus Valley. What do you do? What's your Keystone activity? What's your pivot plan? Do you have one? Please share it in the comments. Share this video with others if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe as I explore more ways to keep us cycling, healthy, and living life to its fullest.